You just in the background.
Matt and I roll to like this.
You're just going, we're doing this for you, baby. We're setting you free.
Imagine if Switches had proximity chat in them like Warzone does, and you just hear kids just tears. Just
I didn't get to play.
You imagine being a parent
It's
and
the
just
Super
seeing a giant
9000.
strap-on with eyes like, Deltatron.
I mean, that's basically what Doug Trio is.
Wow, this is great news, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, In the news this morning, good morning. We are live again from the 100 Thieves Cash App compound in Los Angeles, California. Another episode of the CouRage and Nadeshot Show presented by Cash App.
In the middle of a pole. Like, my legs can't go there.
Straddle the pole, Daddy.
I know that my legs are as skinny as this pole.
Straddle it.
Listen, I straddle a lot of things. Not this
I love
pole.
this podcast because we had 15 minutes of pre-show. As soon as we were like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He
Hey,
decided
look,
as
man,
we were rolling that it was time to fix it.
I'm not the best at looking into the future and things that impact my life, so I'm trying to get better at just living in the moment, and I just realized that it's too close. But I'm excited about today.
Yes.
You know what? A little offended by the entire company and staff at 100 Thieves because they scheduled like the first live show when I was traveling out of town for work. You guys, the last podcast that was done in this room was without me.
Yeah, it was great.
It was good.
It was a really good time.
Oh, thanks, guys. I feel so much better
like
than when I
nothing
shared that
was
experience.
missing.
We
with
gave
you.
away $100,000.
Yeah.
We gave away a ton of money to the chat.
Yes.
We gave away jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
We had Mizkif on the show. Free food. There's no free food here
A lot of
today.
good stuff.
We got
Mizkif was
water.
great too. We got a different side of Mizkif. We got a very somber, introspective Mizkif.
You know what? I don't know enough about Mizkif. The only time that I've ever seen, watched, or heard was him in our living room at the 100 Thieves Content House. And I feel a little dated in where I'm at in the world of streaming and YouTube, just because much like Jack, and I don't know how much time you spend watching other creators, when I was full-time content creation, I was up to date on all the new creators in the gaming space that were making an impact, rising followers, all this, that, and the other. But everybody talks about Mizkif like he's incredible and he's hilarious or he's a little bit of an asshole. I don't know his story, but
I mean, that's all of them.
the time that I
He is all of them.
spent talking to him at the house was fantastic. But I think I actually need to go watch the podcast episode to learn more.
Yeah, I think Mizkif is really interesting because he's like performance art in a way. Like I can't separate what is Mizkif the character and who is Mizkif the person a lot of times.
Do you think those have molded together for him and now he's not sure?
For sure.
Trust me. I mean, when he was at the house and the way he was acting, I was like, brother, no one's here to laugh at you. You're not on stream. You don't have to
Yeah, dude.
be like this. He's like, this is how I am.
When he showed up to Ludwig's roast and he was like literally wearing dirty clothes.
Dude,
It's
he
like,
wore-
did you mean to do this?
he
He's
wore-
like, dude.
dirty shorts that I know the ones you're talking
Yeah.
about, the gray with the stains on them.
Yeah.
And then when he came back 3 weeks later, he still had the same pair of dirty gray shorts on with the same
yeah.
stains.
It reminds me of Heath Ledger. Like back in the day in The Dark Knight, they did a lot of conversation, unfortunately, after his passing, how he wasn't able to stay out of character. He was only able to channel the Joker for months and months and months. And a lot of people say that's what it drove him to madness. I need to read about it more, so don't quote me on that entire statement. But my point is Mizkif the future Joker?
A grim harbinger for Mizkif's future.
Hey, listen, Mizkif's having a rough day because Rich Campbell just passed him in Twitch subs, and Rich is rubbing it in.
Oh,
so.
no. I don't know Rich Campbell that well either, and he was a caster for Call of Duty for some time. Hey, I don't know if this is making an impact, but every time that I look at this monitor production team, our voice meters in the green is usually getting up a lot higher. So just please, dear God, make sure the audio is working out. You guys know better than I do, but this is a observation.
Yeah, why are we judging? Mauricio, you have no idea what you're doing. Yeah, that's
Guys,
not real.
I'm just letting you know that I look at this damn thing, and Will Neff is rising higher when he speaks into the mic. Okay, all right, I'm stupid. All right, guys, well, welcome back to the CouRage and Nadeshot Show. Mizkif is gone. Will Neff is here to stay. This podcast is brought to you by Cash App.
There's no full ad read. They trimmed it even more.
Wow.
They just want us to riff, man.
Riffing about Cash App.
If you don't use Cash App, then fuck you, baby. That's the whole ad read today.
It says riff of anything investing related. Cannot mention any particular stocks because I'm pretty sure we will be sued by the SEC. But if you don't have Cash App, download it today.
That's really tough to talk about investing without stocks. So what are you hot in the market on? Stocks. I like them. All of them. Big on,
certain
bullish
stocks
on
that
stocks.
I really like. I can't tell you.
Not financial.
I'm making a ton of money off of these stocks.
You guys, listen, if you don't use code THIEVES, THIEVES, when you sign up for Cash App, you're not going to get $10 for free. And we will not send $10 to the Gamers Outreach Foundation, which allows young kids that are dealing with long-term treatment hospitals to play video games. So if you don't sign Cash App and you don't use code THIEVES, you hate kids in hospitals and you hate money. So
I have something that needs to be addressed at the top of the show.
perfect.
Hit me.
Will Neff, you were banned.
I was.
You
banned.
were a banned
I saw
man.
this.
I was banned.
And a lot of talk on Reddit live stream fail, and it goes back to
Yeah.
the whole Twitch and sometimes how their bans for some people are harsher than others and may not make sense.
Were you
Yeah.
slinging pickle?
That's what happened. Yep. I finally unveiled my OnlyFans. I slang some pickle. No, it was an interesting situation because I think everyone came out looking really good in the process. I think even Twitch staff made a really good account of themselves because essentially what happened, if you don't know, is there was a streamer named Mr. Wobbles who had been banned for 4 years because of the way that he dealt with a potentially violent stalker. And in my mind, that is such an extenuating circumstance, especially if someone's going to bring like my family into the equation. I can't say that I would handle that situation well, so I certainly had a soft spot for him. And a lot of very affluent Twitch creators were immediately benefiting from Wobble's content on the Rust server. So we got these cease and desists that we couldn't play with Wobbles anymore, even though Wobbles had been banned for 4 years at this point.
From Twitch. The
From
cease and
Twitch.
desist were from Twitch.
Right. And so I basically went up to Wobbles the day of, and I muted my stream, and I hid him from my camera view even in game. And I basically was like, hey, we've been alerted. We can't play with you. I want you to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And he was very upset about this. And then he decided to like excommunicate himself from the server. Like, I'm not going to play with the server. I don't want to put anybody's career at risk. So I shared his donation link. And Twitch considered that aiding and abetting a Twitch aversion. Now, after this, I spoke with my account manager because I was banned for 3 days. And I was like, hey, I think you should really look into this guy's case. Mr. Wobbles was on banned. Even though I appealed, I served the full 72 hours. And you know what? I broke the rules. But I think it's good on Twitch's account that they were able to separate Wobble's case from my case and unban him. Now, it seems a little strange to like it was like marijuana crimes at this point, right? Like if you're still in jail for having a nug in New Jersey, feels bad, man. It felt a little bit like that. But I think Twitch made a good account of themselves, and it ended up putting a really talented streamer back on the platform. So
He was banned for 4 years, and you following up with the account manager led to him being unbanned?
instantly.
That is incredible and slightly concerning on Twitch's part. How do we get there? Wait, so what did Mr. Wobbles do? Did he like dox his stalker or something?
He's a musician and he does songs. And basically the stalker had been like threatening to dox his parents, had been following him around in Twitch VR. And he made a song called, I think it was called Why Don't You Go Kill Yourself? And he did it in song form, mind you, but that was a bridge too far for Twitch. And 4 years later, he was still banned.
Wow.
Why don't you go and kill yourself?
Yeah.
You know what? I wish people could appreciate dark humor a little bit more. I feel like I need to tiptoe around 2021, but that made me chuckle a little bit. If I had a stalker and I was musically gifted, I don't think that I could say that I wouldn't make a song titled "Why Don't You Go Kill Yourself."
It wasn't a bad song. And the other thing is Wobbles admit what he did wrong. He's apologized many times. He's like, I went way too far. I shouldn't have done that. And, you know, how he served longer than Cosby did for it. So.
Oh, Mr. Wobbles.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
Did anyone gift him some? Does he have a partner badge? Is he partnered again? Or
I think he just applied for partnership. He went from 0 subs to 3,000 in his first 2 streams.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, the weight off your shoulders, the weight of the world probably.
Yeah, man.
To get unbanned.
Oh,
I wonder what the internal celebration was like when he found out you were going to be unbanned.
Oh, bro, he told me he called me because he was at a drugstore and he got an email and he was like, I haven't received a Twitch email in 4 years. And he's with his girlfriend and like he
Wait, was he buying drugs or was he at like
no,
CVS?
He was at a CVS, a drugstore.
Hey, listen, man, you never know.
You know, he's on his way to the crystal meth depository.
Times
No.
were different in
No,
2017.
he was getting like dog food, man.
Well,
This
I've
is-
never heard somebody refer to CVS as the drugstore anymore. I feel like they,
I'm
it's
old school. No, but he got
crystal
the email
meth
from
depository.
he got the email from Twitch that he was on band, and he was like, so, juiced on that, and it just felt good, man. Hey, anytime that you can, that's the whole thing. Is Twitch is this amazing platform with seemingly limitless possibility, right? We look at all these companies trying to penetrate the Twitch space, and it's really difficult for them because there's a magic about one person producing their show, their artistry directly to you. And so as a creator on the platform, I think it's my responsibility to make sure Twitch performs as well as it can, because I don't want, Facebook taking over the gaming space. No offense to anybody that streams on Facebook, but Facebook is a fucking evil empire and I don't want them touching my shit. And
Couldn't you argue that Amazon is very similar in that, right?
it is very evil empire. Yes, it is. But
It's basically which
they still don't have any Nazi propaganda as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I know. Look, I feel great about all platforms because I am brand safe. But
You can cut this segment, by the way.
it's
Facebook
been the
evil,
whole
but-
podcast. No. It's okay.
Cut it all.
Listen, I'm pretty sure Zuck will forgive you, man. It's
Zuck.
a tough situation.
I think
and
even Zuck knows at this point. Did you guys watch that one documentary on like the nature of social media, where a lot of the people who were like integral in the beginning of social media are looking at social media now and they're like, we can't stop this.
Oh, you can't
Like,
stop
it's
the
its own
machine.
beast.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it came out in like the last year during COVID on
Yeah,
Netflix, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was super interesting. A lot of like the headhunters that worked at Twitter and Facebook
Yeah.
and MySpace in the early days are like, I cannot believe what we have created.
Right. And the other haunting thing is a lot of them are like, we wish we could undo this. Like it is such a Gorgon knot of like, we see its influence on people and so much of it is very bad.
Well, I
Very
mean, they
bad.
were literally preying on human nature in how we can filtrate this into the algorithm and make them stay on here longer. And then once Facebook went down the rabbit hole of the older people getting a hold of it and misinformation being spread, it gets a little dangerous.
It's real bad.
I still like using my Facebook from time to time.
Will, what'd you do in your band?
What I do when I was banned? Oh man, I didn't do much. I'm gonna be honest.
3 days off? You didn't go to the beach?
I
You didn't-
downloaded Red Dead Redemption because I'd never played it.
Okay.
I got into that. I worked out a lot, which I don't really have time to do. I spent a lot of time with my dog. We went to the park. We did Runyon a few times.
Nice.
Must have been a nice little break.
It was a great.
Bro,
it
the
was-
best thing that can happen to a streamer is get fucking banned.
Maybe not for
especially-
4 years like Mr. Wobble,
Yes.
but
Especially
And-
getting banned for something that like you're,
community
you're
rallies
passionate
behind.
about. Yeah. I felt good about me bringing advocacy to this.
Bro, I think every streamer's goal should be to get like a 1 week ban every
Yeah.
every year. Symphony stresses so much. They're in Disneyland right now, and Brooke found out that they had to come back because of a shoot that couldn't get delayed. So they were only able to do like a night and a half instead of like 2 full days and like 2 full nights and a third day. And Symphony's like, yeah, but it kind of works out well because now I miss one less day of streaming. I'm like, brother, you are celebrating your 2-year anniversary. You have, you are already set up with Twitch. You have all the stuff lined up. Your fans aren't leaving you.
Yeah.
It is so ridiculous that
Dude, it's
and
young kid,
every
though.
person.
He's a young
is,
kid.
It is a question of perspective. And I think Twitch has this really interesting way of blurring perspective. Like, well, all live streaming, right? Because the metrics are immediate. So as soon as you get done with the stream, you see how many people watched you, see the money you made, you see the impact, and you compare that to your own career, right? It's impossible not to. This was a downstream. This was an upstream. And anytime you take that time off, you're immediately in your headspace like, oh my gosh, like I've done damage to my product.
Yeah.
Because that feedback is so immediate.
I just try to remind people that, like, listen, if you take 4 days off this month, and I have complete deja vu right now for what it's worth. If you have, it's
Glad
like
to know.
the last 30 seconds of you like answering that text and the other.
whenever you get deja vu, you should call it out loud
You have
though,
to.
so that you don't feel like you're crazy.
is that like, listen, if you take a week off, right? Then like, sure, this month might say a down arrow, but because you won't have the week off next month, all those days will just be net positive days.
Yeah,
Because,
true,
it's like you take that time off now, and then that next month, it's the reverse effect. So you
Yeah,
feel even better.
but you know what's funny? I would actually challenge you to think about what your career was like when we were living at 2015 Purdue, because there were days where my girl would have, girlfriends over, we'd be having a great day outside the pool. It's like a Saturday, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, sun's beaming down, drinks are flowing. You're like, I'm going to go stream Fortnite. And you were doing that because
I needed my streaming contract, and then I got that shit, just like Symphony does.
Okay, well, that's true. I'm just saying it's really hard, and I'm with Jack. I always give Mason a hard time about having separation between like church and state, work and free time, and I can't continue to harp on it enough. I was the same exact way when I was his age. When I was 21 and I finally had a window into the opportunity of making gaming a full-time gig, there was nothing that was going to stop me from streaming. So I think he'll get over that hump as he gets older, gains more perspective, the dollar starts stacking up a little bit more. He'll figure it out.
I think the best thing that could happen to him, though, is a weak man. I'm going to go down to Symphony Stream one of these days and just whip out my dick.
Well, we're slinging pickle.
You're just in the background.
Matt and I are both like this.
You're just going, we're doing this for you, baby. We're setting you free.
And we handed like tickets to like Hawaii.
Yeah, the
we got
Kotaku
Europe
article
tickets.
would be so confused. It's like sexual assault or act of kindness.
you
Scandal
decide.
inside
Chat
the
poll.
100 Thieves
Chat
house.
poll.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, it's I mean, so now let me ask this, because I mentioned I think being banned is one of the best things that can happen. Like, when you went live again after those 3 days being gone, was it?
The support was insane.
Yeah, exactly.
I did my highest concurrent viewership ever, which was like 32,000.
Dude.
And the first thing I did was I called up Hasan and I was like, I did better numbers than you. And he was like, oh, we're going to do this now, dude? We're going to do this now?
You went to the clink, dude, and you came out a better man.
Bro.
Yeah. How incredible is that?
I still to this day, man, when I streamed on Twitch, I just, a few day ban would go a long way. Tfue getting banned on Fortnite propelled him to new heights.
And we've talked about this a few times. And you know what? To sort of transition, my biggest fear is going to jail. What about you guys?
My biggest
What
fear?
is your biggest fear? I think my biggest real world possible outcome that could happen in anybody's life, you're driving down the street, you hit a biker, that's manslaughter, baby. You're going to jail. Going to jail is my biggest fear in this world. What would you guys say is your biggest fear?
Damn.
I just couldn't survive in jail. I'll let you guys think about it. I'll talk a little bit. I'm a picky eater as it is. I cannot be alone with my own thoughts for more than a couple days, or I'll start driving myself crazy. And I am not a very confrontational person. I definitely would not be able to pick up on the politics of prison fast enough to figure out who I need to side with on the yard. And I just don't know how I could handle or manage. I think I would probably I'd try to figure out a way out of that situation. Now, is it like a Tony Robbins? Actually, not Tony Robbins. What was his name? Shawshank Redemption, that bitch?
Andy Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne, but I was trying to think of the actor's name.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins. Thank you very
I got
much.
you on both.
Dufresne was a tall drink of water.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to figure out a way out of that situation, dude. I don't know.
Dude, every time I watch that movie, the Brooks was here sequence, I cry.
Oh my
every
God, man.
Frickin' time.
That's
Biggest fear. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I think I beat my biggest fear. I think when I was like 29 years old and I didn't have anything going with my career, and I had been stolen from by a lot of companies that I felt like I made a lot of money and I did really good work for, I thought I was gonna die without realizing any of my talent, or that I didn't have any talent at all and I had been fooling myself. And there were so many people in my family that had made investments in me and believed in what I was doing. And that fear of just being another guy who left Hollywood dejected and alone really fucked up my headspace.
Oh, God damn, dude. I'm so sorry to hear
my
that.
fear is when Chipotle's chicken is sitting in the basket for too long and I have to wait the 5 minutes.
Wait, so how old are you now?
I'm 31.
You're 31. So that was 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, man.
And so what do you think was the thought or the realization that got you over the hump that those fears are now overcome, or I overcame those fears? Like, what level of success have you reached, or what moment was the tipping point? Like, these fears do not control my outcome.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'll just tell my history in parts. Like, I remember when I first got hired at BuzzFeed full time, and I was like, I get to do comedy for a living. And I just called my mom sobbing because, I remember when I didn't fail out of college my first semester, my mom was like, called me crying, was like, we thought you were fucked. And so I just felt really good, and I felt like I had validated my family's belief, because my family is really important. And I went through this really bad situation, and I covered this on stream, and people can take their own account of this. But my dream, my life ambition, was to make it to Saturday Night Live. And after I had been fired from BuzzFeed, I was up for candidacy at Saturday Night Live, and I submitted a bunch of my work. And then there was a sketch that was suspiciously like my work in Saturday Night Live that I didn't even watch live. A bunch of my friends called me from the comedy world and were like, "You fucking did it!" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "The episode tonight." Yeah. And then that moment, I lost a few friends, but that moment for me was like rock bottom, where I lost like 2 years of my life to just sadness, where I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna scrape by. And the month before I started doing well on Twitch, I was ready to go back to Michigan and beekeep with my cousin, who's like my closest family member. And I always tell the story about how Hasan Piker was like, "Dude, you're so talented." We're drunk. He's like, "Buy a gaming PC, start streaming." And I was like, "Nah, I can't." I had $2,000 in my bank account, and he like forced me to get on Amazon Prime on my phone and buy a PC. And like 4 months later, I was doing enough on Twitch to like pay my rent and stuff. So
that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's incredible, and that's a difficult
Rocky
thing to
Balboa. I was literally on my last fight.
That was, I mean, it's crazy to think about, but now because I didn't really know of you or who you were, but I think I remember like Reddit livestream fail talking about you addressing the SNL thing.
Yeah, well,
or something.
Have you ever received the comments
So
from them at all?
Hasan said it. Hasan blatantly said, and this is opinion, Hasan said Saturday Night Live stole from Will Neff. And the LSF frogs were like, "Yeah, right, who the fuck? Oh, who mega lol? Who the fuck is this guy?" So I had both sketches, and I was like, I'm just going to show them both. You guys can make up your mind side by side. I'll show my sketch and his sketch. So I did the two of them, and then the opinion changed back, where a lot of LSF was like, "Holy fuck, that's the same sketch." But I never say definitely. It felt like it was. But that for me, like my 5th grade yearbook, when they're like, "What do you want to do?" And Billy's like, "I want to be a fucking astronaut." And Sally's like, "I want to be a doctor." I was like, I want to be on SNL, and I want to make people laugh, because I grew up with a dad who's 91 right now, and my mom was much older, so I would watch SNL when I was like a child.
Bro, dead ass, me too.
Yeah.
It's so funny too, because we hit it off on the Chris Farley impersonation.
Yep.
But I spent every Saturday watching SNL
yeah.
with my parents if I could stay awake long enough.
Yeah. So when that happened, dude, I can't tell you. I've also experienced what I would call an unusual amount of loss. Where like I've lost 2 brothers at this point. My grandmother killed herself. My 2 best friends growing up. My best friend playing football in high school got his helmet cracked and died on the field. Just a litany of like unfortunate events. So that but my whole life I was just like, I think I can. And BuzzFeed was doing well, and I had my own independent sketch channel called Hoodworks with my friend Joe Hood that was very successful. And then it was like this moment where I just felt the enthusiasm die, which is why I'm like such a proponent for mental health and like talking to my community on stream, because man, if anybody understands the doldrums, I just felt my fucking legs go out, man. It was like all of a sudden I just had no dog left in me.
Well, I got to say, the podcasts that you've been on so far have been all very topical with other guests.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we were able to have this moment where I learned all these things about you, because I knew that I liked you. I knew that you were funny. I knew that I enjoyed being around your energy. But I'm sure a lot of people that certainly watch your stream, the community that you've built, more than anything appreciate you sharing your story and the trials and tribulations. And I think it's really amazing, too, that it's also recent where you were at this lowest point.
Oh, yeah, man.
And I'm so sorry that the CouRage and Nadeshot Show is not SNL, but
it's better.
It led you here. And I think the recency is actually inspiring.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we should definitely spend a lot of time appreciating, just because the stories of my life that I told, it happened 10 years ago. I mean, it's still relatable, but it's not. You're in the flesh right now, and your biggest fear that you just talked about, you overcame in the last 2 years.
And I try and be really candid about it because I think a lot of times when there's like a Will Neff, people will be like, oh, Will Neff, overnight success, right? Like that's a guy who like just blew up.
Oh, fuck that.
But like, I think it's really important for everybody working at home on your art, whatever the fuck you're working on, like don't give up. Just keep driving your legs. Whatever you have to, if you have belief that you can do it, keep driving your legs because, dude, for me, it was YouTube, it was film, it was, you know, all these different projects. And then finally, a night of drunken bullying from my best friend changed the course of my life.
See, kids, bullying does have its benefits.
Yeah. Drinking alcohol and bullying.
That's right.
It reminds me of the image of the miner where he's farming for diamonds. You know that one, and he's drilling all the way down. Then he's finally just on the other side of that wall.
Yeah.
Like that was you. You know what I'm saying? And you always believed in yourself.
I would love. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
No. I just think that was. I learned a lot about you, and I think that was
Thank
a great
you.
story. I don't even want to answer what my greatest fear is because I have no.
Wait, it was the warm Chipotle, wasn't it?
No, that was comedic relief to try to cut through the
Cut
intensity
to the
for a moment.
seriousness of me bringing down the show. Yeah.
My joke was that I have no good answer compared to that. That was. I mean, it's true, man. And I think one thing to bring up too is, and this gets talked about a lot with like TikTok and a lot of the platforms I see is that, you know, so many people think you need to make it by early 20s, or a lot of the people that are famous or superstars are not even out of high school, right?
You are
Disney,
so right. I talk to so many kids, 22 years old, 18 years old, where they're just like, I feel like I'm hacked up. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't have it anymore. And I'm like, man, you like, come on, you got to.
Like you were probably probably getting close to 30, and you know, and now look at the success you have. You know, you just never know, and it's tough. And as you mentioned, you know, you were in a position where you had a best friend that pushed you into it, and you just had what it took to go right away. But I know that there's people that are, you know, pushing and trying to do these, become a streamer and become a YouTuber, and between balancing a job and being a creator, it's so much. But it's like, you got to make sure you're just, you can't let it get you down too much because everyone's been there. Like I remember the first time I tried to be a streamer in 2012 or 2012. I made like X amount of videos and streams, and while I was like trying to build, and I remember like 4 viewers was the highest I ever hit. I was like, damn, 4 viewers, that was crazy. But then like I also realized that hey, I got school going on right now, other stuff. Like I can't put the effort I want in to doing this right now. Let me put it on the back burner for a bit. And as you mentioned, like you had this goal of one thing, and you know what the craziest part of all this is that I don't think your saga of getting on SNL is even near being over. You know?
Yeah.
For all we know, you could be 40 and now you're on SNL, which I fully believe is a possibility. You know?
Baby.
So, and that goes back to people as a creator too. Like maybe right now just isn't the right time.
Yeah.
And it goes in the back burner. You do, you know, life and take care of what needs to take care of. And then boom, you never know when your opportunity can come up. And that's what I took away from your story.
Yeah, for sure.
Sling and pickle.
Just
Sling and pickle, man.
You never know when you got to pull that thing out.
I would.
You know what's been really interesting over the last couple weeks is watching the Olympics sort of unfold in front of our eyes, because one of the topics, it was funny, I spent the most of yesterday hungover watching the Olympics and trying to figure out how to follow all the coverage, because you have like the marquee events that everybody cares about. You've got swimming. Michael Phelps obviously popularized that in America. And then you had skateboarding for the first time ever, which was amazing because we have Shane O'Neill, who has always been a big supporter of 100 Thieves. And you even have gymnastics with the females trying to continue their dominance.
Simone Biles.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I can't believe 4'8", and she's probably one of the greatest gymnasts that ever lived.
They literally they literally don't let her do her full ability, her full skills, because no one can even come close. Like they like tell her don't even do that move because it's so far ahead.
That's why
they literally nerf her.
Well, I did not know that. But record low viewership, over only 16 million U.S. TV viewers, 33-year low. It's been very confusing.
I have a point I want to make.
Feel free.
Because I know you're going to explain it in a really nice way, but I want to explain it and just say it in my way. It's fucking impossible. It's fucking impossible to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And time zones aside, it's a shame that because of streaming services and this and that and where we are, again, we've done, you know, this full loop where now it's like you need to have 84 streaming services between Peacock and NBC and then CNBC and
YouTube TV,
NBC Olympics. It's like, what the how do I even keep up? I like and this is a greater thing is the Olympics in our country versus other countries, but like I think people get people get excited about it here, but like other countries just have so much more pride around their Olympic Games and
That's what
have
I
so
would,
much more care. Like
That's what I would say is even in my lifetime, it's like I remember when I was like, I don't know, like 15 years old, and then like I very vividly remember the Chinese Olympics, right?
I thought you were going to say Salt Lake City. Like
No.
Winter Games.
That was a good one. That was a good Olympics. But I remember, like watching like fencing, and I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it was like the U.S. right, and I was like, get him,
yeah,
go, fucking stab him. Where it's like it was like a lot of it was patriotism, right? You wanted to see the United States do well, and I think recently, the socioeconomic state of the country and the overall kind of vibe of the United States has been very poor.
The general vibe is low here in the U.S.
we are not vibing.
Right, we are not vibing. So I don't think there's many young people who are like, oh, I want to go watch this American rock climber.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about rock climbing, but I want to watch the United States dominate. There's just not that appeal right now.
And it's weird, too, because now that I'm watching the Olympics, every time we were watching the relay, the 400-meter men's relay, every time that the U.S. was behind 2-3 other different countries, I was pissed off. I'm like, wait, the U.S. is supposed to be the best at everything, or at least that's what they tell us.
Dude, the U.S. losing in basketball, oh my God. Like,
Oh my.
I don't want to cast any shadow, and like I still believe, and I love those guys on that team, but it hurt my heart a lot.
Absolutely.
Why
I
did it
think
have to
everybody
be
was.
France? Why did it have to be France?
It's so fucked up, too, because you think that you have the dream team. You got Coach Pop, who's just a legend in his own right, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker's over there, Draymond Green. I mean, we have the talent, but Evan Fournier, I think that's how you say his last name. I think he plays for the Celtics, and he's playing for the French national team. He said, yeah, they're all better than us individually, but we're better as a team.
Yep.
So either way, that was just a pool play matchup. I think that they should be able to still make it to the gold medal matchup as long as they don't lose anymore.
Yeah.
But I definitely think, without a doubt, I can say this, that it will be the biggest Olympic failure in all of history if the U.S. don't win gold this year. I mean, think about it. We were on a 33 or a 25-game winning streak in the Olympics. The U.S. and the NBA, although viewership has been low because of COVID, everybody's losing their minds over modern day broadcast sports, that it's all dying and it's all going downhill. The internet's cutting into it. This is the best and most talented that any individual has ever been at the level in the NBA is right now. There is no excuse for them not to win the gold. And I know that sounds a little too emphatic, and Devin Booker is a really close friend of mine, and so I don't want to sound as if I'm saying it needs to happen, but I would be surprised, as a basketball fan who's been watching it my entire life, I would be shocked if the U.S. wasn't expected to win every single Olympics.
When you go and look at the other sports, it's like archery is like, anyone can fuck it. Any country that comes up can win that. This and that, and the other games, like, oh, that can go anywhere. But with the NBA, I think any country out there goes, oh, the U.S. men's team should win that.
Yeah.
Far away.
It's definitely a matter of pride for the United States because, like, when you think about that, any school, any grade school in the United States, any park in the United States, there's a basketball court there. Like, as much as baseball is America's game, basketball is America's game.
I completely agree. And you know what? Not to discount or discredit any of the other NBA players that are playing for their own countries, because there are a lot of them. It's like Luka Doncic just scored 42 points yesterday in his Olympics debut, and it's absolutely incredible. But the U.S., no matter what, with the talent that we have in the NBA, should win gold at the Olympics every single year. And hopefully none of my friends in the NBA are upset with that.
No one's upset with you. I mean, it's the truth. And
I would say they think the same way.
Yeah, I just respect their talent so much. I wonder what their thought. What is it like in the locker room, you think, after losing to France? They only scored 76 points. It was 83-76. That's not a high-scoring game. I mean, you have NBA games where people are just lobbing up threes and they're breaking into like 130, 140.
I saw
it's
a
wild.
sequence of like a French player like hurt on the floor, and like we brick like the next two shots.
Oh, that was at the end of the game in the fourth quarter. We were only down by 1 point. And, Kevin Durant and then a couple other players just weren't able to put it down. It's got to be tough, though, when you're in Tokyo, you're in a different setting, you're with teammates in a different system that you've never played in before.
You also just finished
Every player on that team is the star of their own program and their own organization. and you're trying to share the ball now.
And you also just came off your full season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that's the other thing, too. So, I mean, my biggest thing with the Olympics and my biggest gripe is that I cannot, for the life of me, find out how to watch it. I don't know if it's live. I don't know, what's going on like when it's being shown. Even when I'm on my app, I don't know if you saw this, but like when I'm on YouTube TV and it shows the different Olympic channels, they're all labeled wrong.
It says swimming, skateboarding, gymnastics, and more. And you're watching fencing. I'm like, what?
Dude, everything
That's
like
and more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
but most of them that I go to are like skateboarding. I click on it, it's like U.S. women's soccer team. I'm like, what just happened?
This year is particularly decentralized. It's
I just don't know how the ball gets dropped on that, and I want to believe in the Olympics being great.
Well, I maybe I'm getting too deep, but I always wonder the Olympics governing body. I mean, I just don't even want to know the operational headache that the Olympics must be, especially in a year during COVID.
God.
But what I was gonna say is I love what you brought up about the fact that there just isn't patriotism anymore in the U.S. People aren't proud to live in the U.S. And I'll never forget the day after 9/11. And people have brought this up before in like traditional modern, media outlets. I forget exactly where I read it, but the day after 9/11, every single household in America had an American flag waving from their front porch or their front door, their stoop, their balcony. And it's just unbelievable what has transpired over the last 20 years in American culture. Look, I'm not Hasan, and Will, you seem to be like a really intelligent guy. I can't speak to this any more than it sucks. I hate the fact that people aren't proud to be each other's neighbor. People aren't proud to live in the U.S. together. We've never been more divided, and yes, there are a lot of reasons for that, but there still needs to be a sense of excitement and pride in the fact that we have Olympians that are competing for the U.S. trying to beat the living shit out of the rest of the world.
Yeah. Well said. I think part of it is like you gotta remove the Olympic athletes from the U.S. government, right? If your gripe is with the U.S. government, don't take that out on the U.S. Olympics or the U.S. Olympians.
Yeah, these are athletes that have dreamed their whole lives of getting here.
Who are doing their best to represent their hometowns. You know what I mean? Like Flint, Michigan, and Tucson, and all these areas that they've worked their entire life to perfect a craft. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see.
As of recording this, I just looked up. We are second in golds to Japan. Japan has 8 golds. We have 7. China has 6. China has the most medals at 18.
And China will win every single diving medal.
They are pretty correct.
Which is like,
bro, I
10
didn't
of
know
them.
South Korean women, they have won the last 9 Olympic gold medals for archery.
Oh.
They're like the god. They're like
Yes.
the U.S. men's basketball, but for archery.
Yes. Certain countries have events that you don't want to see them.
Dude, they walked in, they smoked.
Yeah.
Maddie and I were watching. They smoked the other team that they faced 3-0 in the grand finals.
They're
They
outrageous.
were out.
Yeah.
They made their dinner. They made it to dinner in time.
You don't
want
want to see Korean archery. You don't want to see China in diving. You don't want to see the United States in basketball usually.
Didn't it used to be either you never wanted to see Russia in women's gymnastics?
Russian women's gymnastics and wrestling. Russian wrestlers are monsters.
I mean, they're wrestling bears like Khabib. No, I mean, there's a video literally of Khabib like wrestling a bear when he was a young man.
The Russian Olympic Committee is currently 4th in medals because of their sanctions. They're not allowed to be under Russia. Because of all the doping.
Dude, the world is fucking
scandals like
nuts,
that.
man.
It's a weird
I just
time.
always think about the fact that as you're younger, you always think that adults and your parents and politicians are the end-all, be-all. Like, this is structure. You guys know what the fuck you're doing. And then you get older and you realize that the world's government and all of the countries and all of the cities and all of the counties and states, they all are just like us trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
it's chaos.
It is terrifying to think about. There's not one 70-year-old man, like 75. Joe Biden, and I'm not getting into Democrats, Republican, left and right. Joe Biden is older than every single president in the last 4 terms.
Oh yeah, 4 terms.
Like ever.
5 terms,
like
6 terms.
ever.
Oh, ever. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say that.
He is old, man.
it-
He's going to be 82 when his term's finished. I
Is
think.
George Sr. still alive?
no.
Okay, that's what it was then. Joe Biden is the oldest president out of all of the living. No, Jimmy Carter's still alive. Either way, I would never trust an 80-year-old person to do anything for me, let alone run the country. Ever. We need to have some motherfucker that's like 45 and sharp in that bitch.
That's right. That's right.
Or a woman.
We need someone more like Professor Oak, which brings us to our next topic.
Yeah. Dear Lord.
Netflix is developing a live-action
Spare us.
Pokemon
Fucking
series.
spare us.
Jesus Christ, guys. You can't let me speak my truth.
No. I was
just
agreeing.
saying.
I was agreeing.
80 years old telling me, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man.
Hey, you will get no backlash from me on that.
Yeah, it's...
Have you guys played the new Pokemon Switch MOBA?
Love it.
No, but I saw a funny-ass video of, like, I'm a Cutie Pie and 2 other pros or whatever. How is it 4v4?
Yeah, and they made like there's 5v5, and they made a Baron call, and they got smoked.
Oh, well, no. I saw something different. I saw... Because in that game, there's, like, no skill-based matchmaking, and then it's, like, all kids that play it.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to know the average age of a player on that game, because they're facing this team, and, like, that you can go to the enemy team's fountain, and it's the equivalent of, like, and there's, like, a wall that you can't get in. But they were just at the enemy team's fountain for 9.5 of the 10 minutes of the game. And there's, like, certain areas on the map that you go and capture for points. And I haven't played, so I don't know if this is all correct. But the score was 1,650 to 11.
They were just pummeling children?
And the other team was like Little Bear, Mama Bear, Papa Bear. It was like a mom and dad trying to play with their son and, like, teach him online games.
They ran into the wrong lobby, baby.
3x League of Legends split champions.
Yeah, all of Dignitas just fucking
at their front
hammering
gate, and your abilities go through. So they are walking to go up to leave their base and getting one-shotted in their fountain.
They learned today.
Hey, it's welcome
They
to
learned
the
about
gaming
MOBAs
community.
today.
Everybody
Little
needs
Bear.
that lesson, though. I almost never picked up Call of Duty ever again because the first Xbox 360 game I ever played was Call of Duty 2, and they didn't have a spawn system back then. So you would not spawn out if the enemy pushed your base. So you would only go into private servers. You would spawn in, and it was black screen, black screen, black screen, black screen. I'm like, I'm never playing this game again. But I learned. I'm like, you know what? I got to get back up on the saddle, dude. I need to give this another shot. Modern Warfare came out, and the rest is history. So those kids getting fucking smoked, they will rise again from the ashes of their fallen brothers.
There might have been Baby Bear might have been a professional gamer one day.
Imagine.
We might see
That
him.
kid's gonna be the next Faker.
And now he's just like put down a Switch, and he's like, "Mom, I want to go play outside." Like, dude, they were
Just
the
bawling
clip is
their
so
eyes
funny
out.
because they're laughing, and then it's like, "Good game." The game ends, and it's like scoreboard,
GG's.
red team 1,648,
in
blue
a game
team
where you usually win by like 50 points.
11. It was like 1,650 to 11.
Imagine
points.
if Switches had proximity chat in them like Warzone does, and you just hear kids just tears just.
I didn't even get to play. Yeah, that's some good shit. I haven't played it yet, though. It's good.
It's a lot of fun. It's like kind of pay to win-y, and it's kind of oversimplified, but if you get a group together, it's a lot of fun.
Man, I'll tell you what, I never thought we'd see the day there'd be a Pokemon MOBA. So I'm impressed the fact that the licensing got to the point that it has reached.
Let me say this. It gives me hope because all I want to see is a fucking Pokemon open world like Breath of the Wild. Let me walk around and find an Onyx in a bush. And a lot of people are like, yeah, Sword and Shield did that. No, it fucking didn't. It gave you one teeny tiny taste of what that could be like. I want Red Dead Redemption meets Pokemon. Let me be a trainer and walk around. Find Pokemon.
That'd be sick.
Right now,
if you did it in VR.
Right now, MMOs are seeing their like biggest. Outside of World of Warcraft, was in shambles. Final Fantasy's crushing. New World's been the talk of the town this past week.
You have to be a good
well.
game to be melting people's graphics cards, and people just be like, "Well,
I'm
fuck
still
that.
gonna play.
I'm playing."
I was like, I don't care if I'm risking my, graphics card. That's literally what I did. I was like, I'm just gonna put a screen. I'm gonna put an FPS cap on and just play. I don't care what happens. And that's a beta that gets reset in 5 days.
And their graphics card that people have like stabbed each other to get.
Yeah,
So
literally
this is big time gambling.
Is it that much fun? Do I need to play it?
It was. Am
I going to lose years off my life if I?
It's not as
spawn
in depth as World of Warcraft for what it's worth, but imagine like the investment that's being made in like Riot's MMO into a Pokemon MMO. Now with that, I don't even know what the number is, but let's just put it 700 plus Pokemon. It might be that might be wrong.
I think it's 800.
Okay, 800 Pokemon.
Dumb.
With the level that it could go to, with the amount of customization, and each individual Pokemon having certain skills. You know how fucking lit that could be?
Bro, that's the funniest
goes,
reaction I've ever.
Dumb.
Stupid.
I mean,
dumb.
well, I wasn't calling you guys dumb. I think the fact, man, as soon as they got over 300 Pokemon, I was lights out, brother. I couldn't name. These syllables don't exist in my memory bank.
To be fair, I agree with you. Some of the Pokemon, it feels like it was like a half-baked idea. There's a
Oh,
Pokemon
dude,
that's
they're-
a pile of trash. It is actually a pile of garbage.
They've got like
bags.
fucking Dildatron now. It's just a huge
What is
dildo. Okay.
Dude, I mean, come
Oh
on.
my God, it's evolving.
Can you imagine being a parent
It's
and
the
just
super-
seeing a
what,
giant
9,000?
strap-on with eyes like Dildatron.
I mean, that's basically what Doug Trio is. There's just 3 of them. Yeah, and the thing is, too, is the last Pokemon Pokemon Red was probably what made me addicted to gaming.
Yeah.
And then I played Gold and Silver. That was the last Pokemon I ever played. There's just too many of them. I can't get excited about it anymore.
But then also, and this is a gripe that a lot of people have, is that it's just too easy. There's no difficulty to it for
No.
for anyone above that.
No,
Like, for
they've
that
never
age.
tuned the difficulty. They've never like that's why Nuzlocke became so popular, right?
I need
It's
to play
like,
that
It's
and
like,
try
oh
it.
wow, I can enjoy Pokemon with some level of difficulty.
Yeah, and I know this conversation has probably happened so many times in so many different places, and we're getting a game that's getting closer to what we asked for. Can you imagine an open world Harry Potter game? Brother, just exploring all of Hogwarts and Hogsmeade and just the magical world and building your own wizard or witch.
Slamming butterbeers.
Just slamming butterbeers.
But but then you could also with the amount of like stuff there is, like you can almost see like how bosses could come into play and gear and you could get different fucking what is it called where they fly on the brooms?
Nimbus 2000.
Yeah, you
like,
never-
different level. Different,
Quidditch? You never watch Harry Potter?
I've watched Harry Potter. I've watched every.
I'm
single
putting
one.
on that invisibility cloak and I'm doing things I should never do. That's all I'm saying. That's my.
You know
This
what's
is
crazy
not
to
an
think?
admission of guilt.
And
It
for what it's
is.
worth, I'm calling in.
Take me to jail.
I'm calling in HR right now during this episode. No, I think that'd
It
be awesome, man.
definitely
I think
has.
every person in the world should experience and get like really in depth to like an MMO with
Yeah.
a group of friends and
You know what's
feel that
you know
because
what's
it is the
interesting
best.
about this is the lead into this story. What's on our sheet is talking about the Netflix live action Pokemon series, and I think it's
They're
so
gonna
interesting.
fuck that up.
That's exactly what I wanted to get into. Is so much IP is so burnt out and trashed in like the screen format, but there's still so much IP utilization that we want to see in video games, right? Like we still want to see a Halo BR. We still want to see like these properties. So it's such a different vibe. Yes, Netflix is going to do a horrible job with the live action Pokemon series.
I don't understand how they don't understand or listen or like look at the track record. It's like Death Note. I know Death Note's a little different than Pokemon, but they tried a live action movie and it was terrible. But it got people riled up enough to watch it. But my point is always going to remain true. It's when you have Demon Slayer and Your Name and some of the biggest theatrical releases in Japan that then carry over across the world and bleed into the U.S. Pokemon should just stay animated. It's the reason why the world exists is because it was only possible through animation. There does not need to be a live action version of it. Please, dear God, don't fuck with my childhood.
Do you think it's going to be Ash Ketchum or is it going to be a new story?
If it's not Ash Ketchum, and if I'm not seeing Misty's titties all over my timeline, dude, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
is HR still outside?
Nah, it's okay.
Bring it back.
I can say these things. It's the CouRage and Nadeshot Show. They let me say "fuck you" in the goddamn intro.
No,
if
Misty-
I can't talk
Misty
about
was
Misty's, she was a
Missy's
baddie.
bad, bro. Remember how much
That crappie
remember how
with
much
the-
Brock would talk about? Like, dude, Brock only had one thing ever on his mind. That motherfucker had an Onyx, and then all he thought about was ladies, bro.
That's true.
True.
And he never hit on Misty. He was always after like Joy and what was the cop's name? Jenny.
You sick fuck.
Jenny.
Yeah, bro. Let's just say Misty.
Oh, Nurse
she can open my
Joy?
Pokeball any day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Professor Oak. No.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, got that daddy energy.
I think Misty on that animated show was like my sexual awakening. I can't remember on the timeline if it was Kimberly from the Pink Power Ranger, or if it was Misty or Lola Bunny.
I still
But it
Mine
was one of them.
Kelly Kapowski. Saved by
Kelly
the Bell.
Kapowski.
Kelly Kapowski was, yeah.
I still know who mine was, and you guys might not even know who this is. Morrigan from Darkstalkers,
Never watched it.
Marvel vs. Capcom. Anyone? Thank you.
All the
Everyone's got a-
it's all guys in the room, and then we get to see like the production team, like, yeah. Let me pull up a photo for you. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited just to see IP continue to develop. I think a lot of these studios and dev teams are now embracing what 90s culture, early 2000s culture, like these IPs that have been around for 20, 30 years, they deserve their own platforms for different types of mediums like games and shows and movies. Just don't fuck them up.
Yeah.
Like Avatar: The Last Airbender, don't let M. Night Shyamalan or whatever make.
Oh my God!
Come
Speaking of, have you guys? Hey,
Oh wait,
there
bring
you
it back,
go.
bring it back.
That's Morrigan right there. Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, she's pouring out of that thing. God damn. What?
Oh Lord.
Oh man.
Sheesh.
I signed. No. Hold on, he's got Delta. Get this motherfucker out of here.
What the fuck was that?
He just collapsed the line.
You know what that sounded like? Can we edit in those old? Remember those duck mouths you can get grown up and you blow it. That's the sound. You just made a duck sound.
It's just him going. You know what? Nah, that just. Hit
The
me
thing is,
so
I'm immune to Matt's of those because from living with Matt, the amount of times he's got to say, you know what? Never mind.
That hit me. That just hit me so funny.
Let's move
Brother,
on.
you just collapsed the line. I think we're at the end of the episode. It's been an hour.
Are we? Where are we at?
That's fine.
We'll do one more topic.
I mean, we don't need to. Let's get JHB in here for the next episode. I feel like we had some good things to chat about, unless there's anything that's super topical.
Oh, Netflix gaming. Let's talk about that quick. Netflix gaming.
Listen, well, the reason why Netflix gaming is interesting, and this kind of goes to this too. Peloton's also announced that they're going to do they're going to have a game on Peloton as well.
That's insane.
Everybody's fucked as soon as Discord starts getting their publishing act together. As soon as Discord can operate as Steam does, Discord is going to take over the world. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
Is Netflix gonna have its own downloader, like Epic Games launcher? Is it gonna have the Netflix game launcher?
Time to expand to another one.
What games are they gonna have?
It's probably just gonna be kids games. Like Netflix Kids is so wildly successful. It would be silly for them not to just be developing like mobile level games that are bright and colorful and very engaging for
Why
kids.
does it have to be that? Why can't it be, hey, Google Stadia has their cloud games, but it's a new thing that people are having to go sign up for.
Google Stadia like blew up and is not even in function anymore. It doesn't even exist anymore.
It does. They just
Google Stadia has
it
full
still
vacancy at YouTube. The project is dead in the water.
But they're just not making new games for it, but they're still bringing in third-party titles.
Are there like importing titles and porting them over?
So like imagine that for Netflix. Like, what if Netflix Gaming is a cloud service, and now the reason it doesn't fall off like Google Stadia is because people aren't having to go subscribe to it.
Dude,
it's like, oh, now it's just added to my Netflix.
I would listen. If I'm a gambling man, Netflix has a near limitless budget, right? What if they came out with something splashy, like you want the next Splinter Cell? Netflix Gaming. Do you think they'd ever pull something like that, or do you think they're going to go fully?
I think the world of buying exclusivity is dead, and if you want your game to be successful, I mean, look at the war that Xbox Game Pass just had with PlayStation. I mean, it doesn't work anymore. Games need to be free to play. They need to be available everywhere. I mean, if Netflix wants to internally build a video game studio, which is fucking incredibly difficult and takes years and years and years and tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to develop, I think that, which they can do, you're right. They have a limitless budget, but they must have something in development already, or they would not come out and announce this feature that's going to be coming in near term.
Well underway.
Yeah. I mean, imagine they like pulled up with Pokemon MMO open world.
Yeah, dude. Or as I said, like Splinter Cell, like a title that fans have been like screaming about.
Have people been screaming for Splinter Cell for a long
yeah,
time?
Yeah. And then everybody got excited when they announced the Dead Space remake. They were like, "Oh, we might get a Splinter Cell."
All I'm gonna say is this: Netflix and chill will have a totally new name, or a totally new reason. You know,
because you're gaming.
Because now you're gaming. So how do you play a game and have intercourse at the same time?
Very carefully.
That's on the next. Let's ask JHB on the next episode.
They just need to upload an entire catalog of hentai, dude, and you're good. Just throw up hentai on Netflix, man. They already got anime on there. Just let's flip the switch, baby. Let's think about Netflix and chill in a different way.
Switch.
That'd be like you have to type in the Konami code to access the hentai.
Up, down, left, right. A, B,
yeah. And then it's like boom, anime titties. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the CouRage and Nadeshot Show with a wide variety of topics, ranging from incredible life stories and hearing the anime arc of Will Neff to looking up a hot cartoon girl.
Yeah.
and now talking about anime titties. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. Shout out to Cash App, as always, for presenting the CouRage and Nadeshot Show. And with that being said, the next episode, either before or after this, is going to be JHB Team. So make sure you watch that one because I cannot wait to ask JHB Team some questions.
You know how we take the CouRage and Nadeshot Show to the moon? We just got to make this entire podcast about YouTube drama. I've thought about it before. Let's just do it. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day.
YouTube.
We'll see you fudging later.
Goodbye.